Well, a very good evening to each and every one of you joining me, Miss Belinda Scandal and
Miranda McCaffrey.
What a show we have got for you today, everybody. We are very lucky today, aren't we?
We are. We've had a lovely conversation.
We have.
A fantastic performer.
A fantastic performer called Tom Pryor, everybody.
Yes.
He's starring in a wonderful film called Firebird, and that is coming to home in the next this week. And stay for 7 days.
Yes.
So we're going to get in deep with that particular one, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Other than that, we've got a right bonanza of a show, everybody. We really, really have. It's going to be absolutely impeccable today. It really, really is. Joining us on the sofa today, we have got the former Lord Mayor himself. He's not been with us for a while, but we've got him back today. It is, of course, Dr. Carl Austin-Behan, OBESBETBE. Yay!
Don't get me DL.
DL, what does that stand for?
Deputy Lieutenant of Greater Manchester.
Get out.
I just thought you wanted to keep it on the down low, but all right.
Are you still an LGBT czar?
I'm, well, whatever you want to call me, but still an advisor and still sort of getting myself out there and supporting everyone across the whole of Greater Manchester when it comes to LGBTQ plus issues.
It sounds fantastic. Have you been busy?
Very busy.
You've been not busy enough to not get a tan, though.
Well, you've got to keep yourself up there, haven't you? I mean,
yes. Mm-hmm.
It's Manchester.
Yes, it's Manchester.
It's Manchester.
We were discussing last week about the beach that's going to be here in 2025.
I know, it's 2 years later, isn't it? It was down for 2023 and now they've moved it on. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
You planned your whole year round and you're like, right.
I'm looking forward to the Pride event there.
And the beach.
Yeah, and the yeah, that's what I was thinking. Something we need to sort of get ourselves ready for.
We could get a team of drag queens doing the synchronized swimming.
You could all be the lifeguards as well.
Yeah, because I look just like all the Andersons. Yeah. In the news today, we've just been informed just before we came on air that unfortunately, one of the bars just on the precipice of the gay village is going to be forced to close for a little while. We're of course referring to Tribeca.
Yes.
This news comes to us directly from the Manchester Evening News, and it says Tribeca in Sackville Street has had its licence suspended, meaning that in a few weeks' time that it will be forced to close in aid that it finds itself a good management team again.
Yeah, I used to sit on licensing within the city council. I was on the council, and it's a tough decision to make because you've got to think about the livelihoods. You've got to think about the jobs that could suffer. Hopefully, it's just going to be for a short period of time. I've read the article as well. And I think one of the things that the problems they probably had was they were outside people were coming in and sort of using the venue. So that really the venue themselves haven't got the control of who's in the venue. And I know that there was an incident that took place outside during COVID when quite a few people sort of.
This is one of the things that's been talked about in the article is the fact that there were so many things that were staying on late after COVID times when they shouldn't have been. But
also it was about the fact that it was outside promoters using the venue to bring them in, and they would do it. They were in charge of the ticket sales when it was ticketed, and they were still pushing people to come through it. So it's a tough one when it's like that because it's the venue itself and the staff are the ones that are being made to suffer because of that. But you've got to call it, especially when there's been incidents taking place. And
it is a shame, but we must say a big shout out to Hazel who does an impeccable job.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about we maybe have problems now, but you think about what it was beforehand. It's a lot better than where it was. Also, what's better and in the news this week, Manchester Airport Terminal 3 reopening, everybody.
Hallelujah.
Do you think that'll have an impact on what's been chaos at Manchester Airport?
Well, the problem I see there, they keep saying the fact that one of the problems they've got is that with staffing. So if they're opening another terminal, where are these staff
coming from?
And plus, they've just spent an absolute fortune on the increase in the size of Terminal 2.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Why? They're making it bigger and they've not got the staff to cover it.
Obviously, this was all pre-COVID, wasn't it, for the new terminal? But yeah, they're opening that. But one of the big arguments they've said is all about staffing. So I'm not sure where these staff are going to come from, unless these staff had already been put in place for the new terminal.
They might come from the airlines themselves because this is obviously going to be taking into account British Airways, Eastern Airways, Iberia Airways.
No, because a lot of the
Longanair, Ryanair.
A lot of them are being moved over from other terminals. So, although they're opening obviously a lot more food areas, things like that, I'm sure there's probably places that are taking their staff from inner city and almost moving it out for that. Yeah,
but I do think when he talks about the check-ins and the security, surely they'd have put them in that area to sort of alleviate that problem. We saw pictures, some of those pictures a few weeks ago were bizarre.
Hellish. There was 3-hour waits for some people.
Yeah. I'm there next. I think I'm there next weekend, so it's just a case of I've done my fast track.
Do they alter it when a VIP like you walks in, Flower?
I don't. I wouldn't know.
Oh yeah, whatever. Of course they do.
You just stand there and go, yeah.
Is what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. This way. Your exit's here. Now, also, just before we move on to our next piece today, we must just say we have got a fabulous, fabulous few weeks of shows coming your way very, very soon. And later today, we are going to be joined by Dale Wingbottom, everybody. Looking forward to that. In the meantime, one other hunk that has joined us today is a guy called Tom Pryor. Now, there's a film called Firebird, and it's good.
Oh, it's a good film.
Oh, it's very, very good.
Go see it.
It's been that much of a good interview with Tom Pryor today. We're split into two. This is part one. Right then, we are now going to be speaking to a star of a film and also a co-writer of a fantastic film. Now, this film, I have to tell you, Brandon, I've watched it.
It's emotional.
Oh my God. It's a roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster.
It's an absolute roller coaster. It is, I would say, it's the pinnacle of LGBT wonderful filmmakingness, everybody. And the star and co-writer. Do you like that?
I did like
Thank
that,
you.
actually.
Cheers.
I
I'm glad you like that. Thank you. I'm glad you like that. And he joins us right now. Tom Pryor, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hello.
How's it going?
Everybody's going to be looking at your lovely background there and thinking about that gorgeous bed there and everything. It's gorgeous. Whereabouts are you dialing in from today?
I'm actually staying in Soho because we have our premiere in London tonight.
Are you excited?
Yep. Yeah.
I mean,
excited and nervous, very nervous.
It's classed as a romantic war drama. It's brilliant. I'm trying throughout this interview not to give too much away, but just to give people a little taste of what this film is all about. Let's have a little look at this.
I have to go.
So, where's my gift?
Sergey, listen to me and don't react. Someone filed a report about us.
What?
They didn't mention your name, but the KGB knows something. You better go, Sergey.
Oh, I know. Now they know something. Perhaps set it up for us then, because I mean that just is like the perfect clip because it sums it up. But I mean, what's the basis of this story then, Tom?
Well, it's a true love story based on the memoirs of Sergei Fetisov. He served in the Soviet army in literally at the height of the Cold War, and he was sort of finishing his last months of his conscription, and then one day a Maverick fighter pilot arrives to the Air Force Base straight out of flight school, and they kind of lock eyes and sort of realize that something more is going on than what they originally thought is their daily duties. And so really it's a story about how they fight to be together in a totalitarian system and within the military when it's completely illegal, and you would go to a hard labor camp for 5 years if you were to embark on a relation such as this.
I mean, it's a definite no-no, like you say. I mean, if they were to be found out, I mean, they've got mega consequences in front of them, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, being sent to a hard labor camp for 5 years pretty much was a death sentence. Not many people actually came back from that. And it's a kind of harrowing reality to realize that, simply by the showing love of this kind could be the end of your life.
Well, it's especially prominent, obviously, with what we've got going on at the moment within the world where Russia is at the moment. Do you think that affects the film and what made you create it? Absolutely.
I mean, it's baffling actually to see what's going on right now. My co-star Oleg is in Ukraine. He's a Ukrainian citizen, and he has been in Kiev pretty much this entire time. He can't leave the country. He's not actually allowed to leave to come to the premiere tonight. And that's been really, hard to hear. And I'm in regular contact with him, but it's honestly unimaginable that this could have been happening around the time actually the film was released.
Yeah, that's pretty harrowing, especially knowing that one of the leads is there at this exact moment, living almost in the front lines of it. That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, is this one of the reasons why you wanted to get into this project? What was your inspiration about, co-writing on this project?
Well, I was actually approached to play the lead in the film. First of all, I was doing some work in America, and then a film producer had just come across Peter Rebane, the director, and my co-writer's first draft of the story. And he had begun to adapt the memoirs of Sergei Fetisov's true story. And we met in December 2014, and I basically heard more about the story, and I was like, wow, this is a part that I'm really fascinated to play. I've always loved the Cold War era. I've always been fascinated by the Soviet history, and I've always kind of wanted to be in sort of more like military-based drama. And then I've always been fascinated also by the line of friendship and something more. And so it kind of appealed on many different levels to me. And we began working together on the story, and I started making some suggestions on how we could improve a couple of the scenes when we were actually shooting a concept trailer, a teaser trailer, to help raise the rest of the financing for the film. And Peter very graciously received those bits of feedback, and then we did 2 more weeks of feedback, and then that sunk me into 2.5 years worth of rewriting, restructuring, drafting, going to Russia to meet the real Sergei, and really a very deep dive into the kind of creative process that we changed the story, I think, for a much stronger final result.
It's like you say, you've now met the real Sergei of who this is about, and you got to speak to him. How does he feel knowing that you're almost putting his tale on screen?
We met him in 2016, and sadly he actually passed away in 2017.
Right.
And we had known that he was ill earlier in the year in 2017, but having got to know him over several days and hung out with him in Moscow, and he was such a sort of bright spirit, and he was like really like courageous, and openly flirted with like a male waiter in a restaurant and things like that. He really was in the heart of Moscow. He was not apologetic, but he was also not sort of naive to his surroundings. And then I actually made the trip actually with Peter Rebane to his funeral in Russia, and he lived 3 hours outside of Moscow, and we got to meet his friends. And unfortunately the rest of his family were kind of quite long gone, but a lot of his friends, and we went to this wake, and we went to a very traditional Russian Orthodox funeral, and I kind of landed on me the kind of gravity of what we were doing. We were going to leave this man's legacy, and I was going to play this part and leave how he'll be remembered in the world. So it's a real honor to have such a level of depth, actually, as an actor, as a writer, as a creative.
And what was his life like after where your film kind of ends? What was his life like after that?
Well, he confessed to us that he said that he never found a kind of love like that again. The love which he described really was very all-encompassing and very soulful and very powerful. And he said that he'd had other relationships, but there was nothing quite like what he'd had with Roman. And he went on, and I think he ended up being about 48 different Russian films because he was an actor.
Yeah.
And had like quite a decent career. He was not like a movie star, but he made a decent living actually as an actor, and started his own theatre in his hometown as well.
Hi, I'm Hayley, and welcome to this week's On The Box. Now, you don't have to subscribe. Pay for a subscription to watch brilliant telly, of course. This week, I have watched the BBC series The Responder. I binged all of that. That is outstanding. I also binged The Pact as well. That's set in Wales. Absolutely brilliant. Also on the BBC. And there's a new series of that coming soon. Gentleman Jack is back on BBC One as well, and there's currently 2 episodes on there at the moment, but the whole series will soon be available on iPlayer. We also have Compulsion on Channel 5. Now that is brilliant. I don't really watch Channel 5 very often, but lately there's been some really good dramas on there. It's about a lady with PTSD. She's a paramedic, and it's about her recovery basically, but there's a lot more to it than that. Do watch it. Absolutely fantastic. There's lots of actors in there who I would say are definitely underrated, but they are absolutely outstanding. The other one I started to watch on Channel 5 is Deadline. That's absolutely brilliant. That's about a journalist. And also, if you do subscribe to Sky, there is 6 Oscar winner Dune available at the moment. I haven't watched it yet, but I hear very good things. And of course, it won 6 Oscars, so it must be outstanding. That's it from me. I shall catch you next time. And remember, stronger together. Bye.
We need a picture. I can't
I don't
move.
know what's going on.
Player.
It's Jo Britton, your neurosculpting coach, for another minute of mojo, and this one is about loss, because we all experience loss at some point in our lives, whether that is the loss of a job, a relationship, a life we once had, a situation, a loved one, or maybe it's some other kind of loss. Whatever your loss is, it's personal to you, and it's really normal to grieve the loss that you're experiencing. And how you grieve is really different and depends on lots of different factors: your personality, your coping style, your life experiences, your faith if you have one, and how significant that loss was to you. Healing takes time. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed if you don't cry, or if you feel like you've moved on and you feel guilty. Moving on is acceptance. It's not forgetting. Reach out if you're struggling with loss and grief. There are plenty of support organisations that can help you. I'll be back next time for another minute of mojo. In the meantime, you can come and connect with me on my Instagram page, jobritton.mojo.
Look. They're dancing with each other. Oh, shit! That definitely wasn't a blueberry.
Do you have a girl back home?
No. Do you?
Shit. Bodyguards.
You see, I think I'd put it down as a romantic thriller Because I mean, not thriller by its very definition. There's not like, ooh,
well, it's
but it's the thrillingness in the fact of will they, won't they, what comes next,
well,
how will she react, how will he
react? I think that kind of works to where its setting is as well, because obviously it's set in the Cold War, and the Cold War's whole thing was to do with the fact of will they, won't they, and I think that it's almost like a representation of that at the same time, which is great to have that in such a storytelling way.
And of course, you've watched this yourself many a times, I'm guessing. Do you watch yourself? I should ask first of all.
I do actually. I'm quite a believer in actually even watching playback on the set, because I can be quite objective about what I am showing, what I'm creating, even like where eyes go, and you know what. Film acting can actually end up being incredibly technical in a really good way, and also sometimes in a slightly hindering way. And sometimes you go, okay, if I look over there at this point, then it kind of, you know, distracts or it makes it more effective. Yeah. So I find it very useful to watch myself back.
It's brilliant.
It is. No, it really is.
It's actually, I hate using this word because it's kind of overused, but it's very, very clever. For you as a co-writer, obviously it was meant to come out properly in 2021. We're now here in 2022. Looking back on the film now, is there anything that you perhaps would like to have altered?
Honestly, no. It was actually thanks to the pandemic that we ended up actually cutting out another 7-8 minutes from the film. And that doesn't sound like much, but the way that the film kind of flows, it moves now more of a momentum that it did. And I'm actually really grateful that we got that time. I was actually in the post-production and the editing a lot actually as well with our director and editor. And to have seen it really sort of refine itself actually over the amount of time that we've had has actually been a real blessing.
So then, obviously, you've been so involved in the filming process, writing, post-production, everything almost, even a bit of directing, obviously, you're watching yourself back. So what's next for you? Obviously, we've seen you recently in The Kingsman and things like that. As an actor, you're going very far. What's next for you then as a film creator?
Well, I would definitely like to write some more. I'm really interested in exploring more representation on screen, and particularly to scale. I have kind of on the sort of back burner idea about a sort of more pansexual James Bond type character.
Yeah.
And I would really, really like to be able to bring that like to the screen again, taking a sort of true story as well, which really resonates with me. I mean, equally, I would really love to work as an actor, like alone again. Like just doing the acting, being able to like really focus on that, because it's a real joy. There is so much responsibility in being one of the producers and also being one of the writers that you kind of never really switch off. And sometimes it would be really nice to just sort of like immerse back and just sit back into the acting.
What about the rest of Sergei's life? Would you be interested in exploring that and maybe bringing, I hate the word again, but we'll use it as sequel to Firebird?
Yeah, a number of people have, well, actually a number of fans have been saying like, when is Firebird 2 coming out? And I'm like, I don't really quite know how we get there, because we'd have to sort of say like, oh, it didn't really happen or something. But yeah, it was really amazing to get to know Sergei in real life. And, you know, because he said that he never really found a type of love again of such intensity, I would almost kind of want to put that one to bed and just sort of like, you know, kind of continue to explore around. But it's such a fascinating part. This is the thing that's so interesting right now, is that, you know, Russian culture has come under such attack, but like it's kind of sad, because, you know, that's not a people, like that's a political situation which is really, you know, steering this whole kind of crazy invasion situation. And at the end of the day, you know, telling stories of love and how people want to be together and just can't be with those that they love, and being persecuted for it is, like, honestly, in this day and age, is still absolutely baffling.
We are going to wrap this up in a minute, but before we go, we've had a couple of questions. First of all, you're here on the 22nd. You'll be here, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
You're definitely here?
Yeah, I'm definitely here. So,
because that's what they were wondering. You know, Q&A at home, everybody, on the 22nd. And secondly, can we see your Sergei side smile? There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. There we go.
It's really
Is
one of
that
that.
it? I don't know.
It's that little one that you kind of give halfway through quite a few times when you're with Roman. It's fantastic. And the third question is, did you enjoy the Attitude photo shoot?
I was so self-conscious. It was actually mad because I had a foot injury several weeks before that, and then I had COVID, which I was completely taken down by, and so I was out of action for about 3.5 weeks, and then about 2 days before that, I was still in bed, like really sick. So I was like, and kind of just about piecing myself together. And I was not kind of, in the sort of physical state that I would have liked to have been, but it was really good at making me get back on and do a recovery and sort of take a grip of life again. So yeah, they're a really lovely team there. And I mean, honestly, at that point, I didn't even know I was going to be on the cover. So that was a nice surprise.
Honestly, I'm surprised we've not been in the cover yet.
Well, yeah, I know. They don't have a big enough
You're up
cover for me.
next.
Yeah, no, we're up next.
We can get a three-page
That's what we're
script. We get a three-page
So,
spread.
thank you so much for your time today, Tom. I want everybody to get behind this film. Quite simply, but I'm going to watch it again.
It's fantastic.
I've got the link, so I'm just going to be watching it, because it's really, really very good. And it's a beautiful story, and it's a beautiful story for all ages, which is a unique concept within itself. So, Tom Pryor, thank you so much.
You.
And we look forward to seeing you here in Manchester on the 22nd, this Friday, everybody, over at home. For now, though, Tom, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks very much,
Thanks so
Tom.
much. Take care.
Absolutely fantastic
Yes.
film. It's amazing, isn't it? It's good. Now, this must touch on a few of your issues as well that you've had when you were in the RAF.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've only managed to see the clips. I've not actually been to see it, but I'm going to see it. But what I thought about when watching the clips is how innocent, how beautiful, and about how personal it is. And it's like it just sort of takes you back, or took me back to sort of times when you did get into that situation with people. And I suppose it's that sort of young love, isn't it? And sort of growing up and that we've all, that you go through. But the fact that, I don't know where the film sort of takes us, but I just thought it was very, very innocent.
What about if you were when you were in the RAF and if you had met somebody? I mean, what would the treatment have been you've been for that?
Well, I mean, there was lads that I was in the Air Force with and things did happen with, and that that they just sort of took over the emotions. But when I did start, if there was someone I was seeing back in Manchester, seeing someone, and you sort of built a relationship, because obviously you couldn't be open about it because it was still illegal back then. Back in, between I joined up in 91, it was illegal up until 2000. I got kicked out for being gay in 97, and I could have gone to prison for 6 months.
Well, yeah.
But the relationships that I had with lads in Manchester or around that I had to keep secret, you'd have your letters that you'd get, and you'd have to, if you have phone calls, you had to go off the camp because even the pay phones were listened to, that they could listen into your phone calls. And the letters, you'd get things sent to you. So there was, if say I was going out with someone called Jonathan, the letter would have to just be signed by Jay, because you wouldn't want it to. So it was about keeping it really, really secret. And you know what? It really messed up my head, because there was times, because I was doing what society said was right. So I was going out with girls.
Yeah.
I ended up getting a girl pregnant when I was 20. We got engaged on my 21st birthday. I was living a double treble life at times just to try and hide the fact of who I was. And, there was time, I was living, double treble life at times, but it was that whole thing of the emotions and trying to just think what you're doing was right. And I remember coming back I was in the Ascension Islands, and I came back to the London Marathon. And in them 3 or 4 days, there was a lot of rumours going around that, because I'd just started getting off with this lad and seeing this lad in Ascension, but again, it was all sort of in the dark and sort of kept hush-hush. But there's rumours. So when I went back, I ended up sort of going out with a girl straight away just to sort of try and hide the fact.
Is that strange for you? Because obviously it's the same thing you mentioned before, living through that era, looking at like the way Manchester is now and how people are, and it being such a, like we spoke in the interview with Tom, it's such a close-knit community. Is that such a shift in you in life almost?
Well, I think, so I knew it was illegal to go in the Air Force when I was gay, but what I didn't want was, because I didn't want to be gay, I wanted to get married and I wanted to have kids, because back then we couldn't get married and you couldn't have kids. So it was about the fact that I didn't want to be gay to define me, However, being kicked out of the Air Force for being gay did define me, because it gave me the fire in my belly to sort of fight for the people and to sort of look at equality.
And you say fight for the people, of course it's got a little bit better now, has it?
Oh yeah, I mean, like, what was good in one sense was the fact that I did an article for Attitude magazine in 2001, and then I spoke very highly about the Air Force. And, you know, I've never had anything about the MOD, or sorry, about the armed forces. It was the government that let me down, because it wasn't them that changed the ruling. You know, I wrote to Tony Blair, I wrote to Graham Stringer, my MP, I wrote to the MOD, and it was basically back to, no, you're incompatible to service life. Being a homosexual is you know,
which is
not wrong, is how they were deeming.
See, I'm more offended by the word homosexual than I am with queer, faggot, any word you want to use, because it's written against me in a derogatory term.
Yeah. We could talk about this.
Honestly, though, but it's so awful that people have to go through that.
I could have gone to prison and 25 years ago for 6 months just for being gay.
Just for being gay. That's awful.
It beggars belief, actually.
It really is.
When you say it like that, it absolutely beggars belief. The other thing that beggars belief is our other guest that's joined us in studio. Segue time, everybody. He's joining us now. It's our Dale Wingbottom. Welcome to the show, Dale Wingbottom.
Yeah, right, Chuckle Butties. How you doing?
Doing flower. We must just talk quickly about your wonderful shows that you've been doing.
Oh, yes.
How was your last show?
Oh, it's brilliant.
Tell us what's in your show, please, Dale.
Oh, well, there's singing, there's dancing, there's games, there's guaranteed prizes for everyone as well.
I hear he gets absolutely legless.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Lovely. Yeah, and there's a buffet, so you get stuff.
There's a buffet.
Yeah, absolutely. It's supposed to be fantastic. Now, you're going to be doing a lot more shows as well, aren't you, very, very soon?
I am, yes.
Yes.
We're also available for birthdays, christenings and funerals.
Yes.
That's right, we put the fun in funeral.
Unbelievable.
So does Valenta.
Unbelievable. Have you brought any of your other friends with you today, Dale?
I might have a couple.
Do you want to go and see if any of them are available?
I'll see what we've got.
Well, let you know, we've got one of Dale's friends.
He's just doing
It's not even stairs behind that.
Don't ruin the illusion.
It's not. It's just the platform of laminated flooring. Whilst he gets one of his other friends, we've got one of his friends joining us in studio very, very soon. He's going to stay in Manchester.
We do.
And he's going to be called Busby. And he's going to be going to all our fabulous family events over the next few months. And he's going to be checking out what's going on there.
And if you can't tell, his name's Busby.
Busby.
He's going to be a bee.
He's going to be a bee.
Yeah.
Remember Busby from the BT adverts? Remember Busby?
Busby. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It's not Rob Saul. Who's this that's joining us now, please?
You're right, I'm William Gordon Gruff and I'm here to talk about the things that matter.
What's the things that matter, William Gordon
There's
Gruff?
not enough goat's milk going around.
Oh, God. Pull the other one.
Pull the other one!
I'll tell you,
That's
you
right,
like
I
your milk, don't you?
Oh, I loves it.
Have you ever met a former Lord Mayor before?
I've not. This is my first. He's handsome, isn't he?
I'm honoured.
Yeah.
Well, I'm honoured. You're very handsome. Don't smile. You'll blind me.
Anybody else that we need to meet?
Well, I'll see what we've got.
All right, thank you. These stairs are getting more of a slope than we know. It's
an escalator.
Under pressure.
We've been building them up as it's going.
I like it a lot. Right, go on, who we got now then? This is exciting. It's coming back.
Who's coming back?
Yay!
You're right. How you doing? Right, I'm Snally Guster. Oh, hello.
Hello.
That's a shot now. That's we should be using.
Can we get your number later?
Yeah.
What can you do? Because you're new to us. Who are you and what do you do?
My name is Snally Guster, and I just like to be a little bit silly.
Right.
Oh, what makes you silly?
Oh, I likes to dance. I likes to tell silly jokes.
Give us a silly joke.
A silly joke. Oh,
Yes.
right. Let me have a think. Let me see. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Doctor.
Doctor Who.
Woo! That's all we can do. I can't get clearance for the rest of it.
I don't think we've got the license for it.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We will quickly cut to a fabulous review of something that's here in Manchester at the moment. It's the Addams Family. And our Ollie went to check the show out with our Frankie, and this is the review.
I'm Ollie and I'm here with Your Manchester, and we've just come out of the Manchester Opera House from watching The Addams Family, and let me tell you what a show it was. So first up, we've got the pros of the show. Immediately from the offset, the set design was immaculate. I was there with another crew member from Your Manchester, and we both immediately pointed out the detail and the amount of care and effort for the set design. Some highlights for us in the cast and the leading cast was Joanne Clifton as Morticia Addams and Cameron Blakely as Gomez Addams. They really supported each other, and you could see the connection between the two characters and you could see the level of care put into the characters by them actors and actresses was incredible. Another leading actor for us was Scott Page as Fester Adams, and every time he walked on the stage, every movement, every action, every word had the audience belly laughing from start to finish. And now what about the cons? So for us, the second act was lacking a bit when in comparison to the first act. It felt to us like the first act had the most development and the most intrigue, comedy and everything packed in there. So when it came to the second act, there wasn't quite enough time to wrap everything up as nicely as we would have hoped. And a disappointing finale where there wasn't as much dancing, as much comedy in comparison to the rest of the songs written by Andrew Lipper. Amazing job, by the way. Finally, the ensemble cast weren't quite as up to scratch in comparison to the remainder of the cast who shone for us. Overall, we felt it's a great night out for the family. You'll be laughing from start to finish. It's great for kids, but it's also great for adults alike. From the tone, the atmosphere, and the comedy and writing in and of itself, we at Your Manchester give The Addams Family a total rating of 4 out of 5 stars.
There we are. Which one
She's
would you
creepy
be?
and she's scary and...
Her name used to be Mary. No, right. No. Carl Austin-Behan, you look at this. You can't see the separation. You can't see where one starts and one ends.
Did you come in matching clothes?
I know, at least I made sure that I wanted to feel that was part of the set.
Well, you are. You're always part of that.
Who's this one?
I don't know. Ask him.
Hello, I'm Argle Bargle.
Argle Bargle?
Yes.
Oh, he's Welsh.
Oh, yes.
Well.
I'm a singer too.
You're a singer.
What can you sing?
Sing us a song.
I sing short tunes, but with my own lyrics.
Oh, go on then.
Oh, give us a tune.
I've got cheese, it's moldifying.
Oh, Lord.
I've got brie, that's too soft. I've got gouda, that's slightly off now. Camembert.
Honestly, he's the one that I want.
See what you did there?
Yeah.
I missed out on that.
I've actually got no words. I'll be honest with you.
It's not often you leave our speech.
Carl Austin-Behan, I can't help but notice you've got a package.
Oh, I've got something for you.
It's very big.
Right, so obviously, we're now starting off with Pride season, aren't we?
Yes.
And I've got you a... So last year we set up the Great Master Pride Network.
Yes.
And so obviously we've got these Pride events taking place in all of the 10 boroughs, as well as Disby Pride, Whalley Range Pride, or Pride on the Range. And this year,
Yes.
we're going to be at Chorlton Pride.
Right.
It's going to take place as well. So I've got you, and I need to get you one. It does say large in the top, so if you need me to get you a bigger one, let me know. It's not often I can get away with saying things. So they'll get away with it.
It's the animals. They've thrown me off.
Is that what it is?
They have, look.
So,
I like that.
We got a close up
we
anywhere.
did it with the progress flag. So,
There we
Very
go.
nice.
so I'll make sure I get you one as well.
That's
Thanks.
beautiful.
I take a medium.
I'd wear that. I'd wear that literally with pride.
Excellent.
I would really.
But yeah, Pride season starts, and it all starts at with Bury Pride on the 30th of April. And it's going to be going on right the way through to the end of September.
Well, I know I'm doing Chesterfield Pride, Oldham Pride, and Salford Pride.
And you're doing Rochdale in Rainbows.
Rochdale with Rainbows and Manchester as well. I'm sure I'll be involved in. I don't get asked to do Manchester anymore.
They've asked me this year.
Mind you, Manchester doesn't get asked to do Manchester Pride anymore, so we won't worry about it. Now, listen, with that in mind, let's see if it's going to be rain or shine with a little bit of the weather.
Hello my lovely weather watchers and welcome to this week's weather forecast with me, Paul Rudd. And I'm here in my garden this week and it's someone's birthday on Friday. It's Queen Bee, Belinda Scandal. And guess what, Belinda? I've worn this leopard print shirt and I've worn this bee in homage to you this week. And there'll be a cake coming to you very soon. Okay, the weather this week though, it's feeling rather fresh today and it's spitting. There may be a chance of rain at the end of the week, but it will be still pleasant when we get that sunshine. So let's have a look at this week's weather. Here it comes. Alright, Thursday is looking sunny and cloudy with the temperatures of 14 degrees Celsius. Friday is looking cloudy with the temperatures of 15 degrees Celsius. And as we party on through to the weekend right now, Saturday is looking cloudy with the temperatures of 15 degrees Celsius. And Sunday is looking like rain with a moderate breeze with the temperatures of 14 degrees Celsius. So again, a very happy birthday to our Queen Bee, Belinda Scandal. Listen, I've got you a cake, Belinda, and I did want a candle because I wanted to blow the candle out, but my budget wouldn't stretch that far. But I've got you a cake right here. Have a great day. And now it's time to hand over back to the studio for this week's brilliant episode of Your Manchester.
So we're going to have all right weather now. Yeah. It's been nice today, to be fair.
We've had a lovely few days.
Shorts at the weekend.
I might consider my tankini at some point this year.
No, not
Just
that,
shorts.
Not, yeah, shorts.
Are they 90s
Not hot enough
shorts?
yet.
Because 90s shorts used to be all the way
No,
up there.
I'm not right the way up there just yet.
Yeah.
Just yet.
I'm a little bit old for that now.
No, you're not, love. You're not.
I'm 50 now.
You're not 50.
I'm 50 now.
God, that makes me 20 next year. Then I tell you, I
That
can't.
makes you 20 on Friday.
It makes me 20 on Friday.
That's right. It's your birthday. Do you know what? No, I think we should tell the audience. What is your in-laws getting you for your birthday?
They're not now, though.
They're not.
No. It's
Oh
not.
no.
It's not happening now. It's not happening.
What she was forgetting
Wait,
was a gym membership.
No, I've got gym membership. They'll be getting me personal training
You're getting
sessions.
personal training
Yes,
sessions.
because you've inspired them.
She was going to pick up a cake with the left hand and then pick up the
Well,
right
my
hand.
favourite machine in the gym is always vending. It really is. It's. I've got new trainers though.
Have you?
I've got new shorts.
Have you worn them
I've
around
got
the
new
house?
t-shirts.
You need a goal, don't you?
I do need a goal.
You need to sort of next year you're doing the Manchester 10K.
Well, I'm supposed to be doing Tough Mudder in September for the George Ice Trust.
Oh, right, so you are doing that then?
I am doing it, but I
Right.
just don't know how well or whether I'll be able to complete it or whether I'll need an ambulance.
And what training are you doing? See, that's
This
what you
cake
need.
in one hand.
You do. Come on.
What I need is somebody that's been in the RAF that can give me some proper training.
Get you out there every day.
Yeah, like Krypton Factor.
I
Yeah.
used to love Krypton Factor.
I used to love Krypton Factor. It was cracking, wasn't it? This gentleman, by the way, on the end of the couch is the creator of all the animals that you've seen here today. This is Matt Crowther, everybody. Now, I've got to ask you, do you have to be a little bit tapped to be a puppeteer?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Because, I mean, you've literally just gone through more characters than I've ever thought of.
Yeah. There's more. There's more in there as well. There's all sorts of different.
Who's your favourite character?
There's got to be Dale because Dale's the one who sort of spearheads everything. So, but I do love having fun with Argle as well. You know, changing lyrics to the songs.
Where's the ideas come from for these characters?
Some of it's just bad impressions.
Yeah.
Some like just voices that I've been practicing, and then just like adding these little personality traits.
Right.
So
how long have you been doing it?
Professionally for about 11 years now. So.
Okay.
11 years.
Yeah.
And did you ever try doing it so it was just as a ventriloquist?
No, I can't do that.
Should we leave?
Sorry.
No, you carry on. No, you carry on. It's all right. I've got knitting to finish. You carry on. Not a problem.
We've got my co-hosts.
Yeah, there you are. It was nice, wasn't it, that little break there? I actually, for the first time in these 42 minutes, felt relaxed for a second there. I did. Go on, Carl. What's your questions?
No.
You realise you're being spoken to now by a former Lord Mayor?
Oh, yes.
Yes. He used to walk around in fleece, didn't you? Pink fleece.
I think, but I managed to get the robes done pink. Look, as a child, Orville.
Yeah.
Keith Harrison, Orville.
Ta-da!
I wish I could fly way up to the sky.
Oh,
Is that before your time?
well,
No.
I worked
I
with
meant the
Orville. Worked with Orville and his mate Keith.
What about the monkey?
The monkey Cuddles.
You look like no, I'll leave it.
It was. I was ready for it because I grew up with Orville. I was ready for it to be a nice family show.
It was.
Until Orville's, Keith said to Orville, "Are you going to school tomorrow?" And Orville went, "No." He went, "Are you going to school tomorrow?" "No, I'm not going to school." He went, "Why not?" He went, "Because I'm 43. that was my childhood ruined.
Like Elmo's still only 3.5, isn't it, Chick?
Yeah, inches.
Elmo has become
I love Elmo.
a stan at the minute with him and his. Have you met his rock friend?
No.
Oh, he's not best pleased about this rock on the show. This rock has taken over his entire life, and he is not.
Do you know
pleased
what's
with it.
fabulous? You're still watching preschool television.
Yeah, but
If you tell me you've not
doesn't-
seen these clips on TikTok,
No, I don't watch things like
I
that.
know she's still on top tick.
Clocks. Right. We've got to go in a minute, so let's quickly see what's on in and around Manchester.
Hello, Michael here with a look ahead to the next week's events happening in and around our region. Now, with the BBC's centenary just around the corner, we can expect to see a whole host of celebrations on screen, including special editions of our favourite shows and the explosive departure of Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who in a battle with both Daleks and Cybermen. But over at the Science and Industry Museum from next week is a dedicated exhibition looking at the Beebs 100 years on air and a look ahead to the future broadcasting down at Media City. Next, musical comedy The Addams Family, which arrived into the Palace last night and is here for a limited time only. Be sure to see Strictly star Joanne Clifton before Saturday, as the company move on to Norwich next week. And finally, cheese lovers, rejoice! The Manchester Cheese Crawl Tours kick off every weekend from St Anne's Square. Take in insider knowledge on all things cheese and enjoy a glass of fizz en route around the city. Tickets can be found on the Visit Manchester website. Don't forget, we at Your Manchester love to know what you're up to, so if you think there's anything that we should be covering, be sure to give us a tweet. Whatever you're doing, have a great week.
Foundation do you use?
Hi everybody, welcome back. We're just talking about foundation. Why do you want some?
I was just wondering what foundation it was.
It's called
concrete.
Leather.
I tell you, it's good though, isn't it? It's fabulous. You wouldn't think that I've got a beard like David Bellingham under it. Now, listen, we've got to go. Thank you very much, Matt Crowther.
Well, thank you.
Where can we catch your next show? Where's your next one going to be?
Next one in Atherton in June, but there might be some others around. Like I say, we are available for bookings.
All right, there you go. Where can we catch you? Everywhere. Where can we catch you?
It's right here every Wednesday at 8 p.m.
Exactly, everybody. So make sure you tune in every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and, of course, check out our podcast. Of course, today has been powered by Talk, everybody. And with that in mind, thanks very much to them. And thanks to all you for watching this week's episode of Your Manchester.